Yo, hey, it's me. Just me right now. Aaron's not here yet. He's coming, I think. He's got busy. He had to move his entire house. Hey, Gord, how's it going? What's coming out as Gord, not Vernon or CBC. Okay, so I'm going to wait till there's a few more guys on, a few more comments. Then we'll talk about how Traxxas is throwing the big old middle finger to everybody and anybody who collected anything that was Snap-on related. Because, frankly, I think it's kind of a dickhead move, but I did totally expect to see it. So, there you go. It's there. Hey, Terry, how's it going? Scott? Terry, do those wheels work for you in the end or not? If not, let me know. We'll sort that out. And, yeah. Who we got? So there's a whole bunch of new things that have scrambled through. A whole bunch of stuff we're changing at the store. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we're changing in store. Yeah, you sent me a whole bunch of pictures of drone footage. Boo. Drone footage sucks. Bleh. Anyways. Yeah, the hauler. So let's get straight into that. Let's talk about the hauler. Let me go over here. Let's go here. I want to see what this looks like here. Let's go to Traxxas' website and look at it. Okay, cool. Works for me. What happened to the old guy with the beard? The old guy with the beard had to shave. We won't get into it because, you know, news. So Traxxas comes out with a 6x6, which they've been out for a while. The 6x6 has been around for a bit. I know. I look younger. It's terrible. I don't know where Aaron. Aaron said he was going to be here. Here, let me message him. Probably fell asleep on me again. There. Okay, what happened to the old guy? Never opened. Okay, perfect. Where's Buddy at? Aaron's not here yet, and he's probably sleeping. He had to. So last week, I'm going to put this face the way away. Last week, the road city of Armstrong, where he lives, decided they were going to put in a sidewalk and everything in front of his house. And when they decided to put in a sidewalk in front of his house, they also had to dig up most of his driveway, and he had to move all of his stuff. And so that meant he had to move everything out of his garage and everything out of his driveway, and he got no notification about it until Friday night, and he needed to have it done for Monday morning. And then it poured rain all weekend, and we had Lumby Days, and we had all this other cool stuff, and yeah. So he's a little tired, a little burned out, and he did message me earlier, but I was at Canuck Tire trying to find some shelving after trying to move some things around. So why is it not showing up? It is a new product from them. Come on. Okay, I'll show you on here then. So there it is. So let's just put it through the other way. This will work better. Down here, and that one. And there. And make it big. There. And share the screen. Okay, so you guys have seen this thing. I'm sure you guys have all seen this thing already. It's freaking awesome. I do want one. But being that I want one, what time is it here? It is 7:30. 7:36. How was Lumby Days? Seeing the clips of the LMT. The Lumby Days was awesome. Those LMT shots, that was Tim. He was ripping around with his LMT. But we'll get into that because that's I'm baffled at some people and I'm not baffled at others. So make this darker so you guys can see better. There we go. So this is the new Traxxas. Are they not switching to the right one? Hold on. I've shared the wrong screen. Let me share the proper screen. Share this screen. And now share that. And I want to share screen. Screen one. Share. That's not what's there. Silly computer. That's what's there. Okay, there we go. So this is the new TRX, not new. Been around for what, 2 years probably, I guess. Dustin's got one that's a snap-on edition. The funny part about this is that they just did this on all of those fast, what the hell were they called? These guys. They just did it on all these guys, right? Snap-on, limited edition, factory five shenanigans. And they're really cool looking cars. And then they turn around and start mass producing them and pissing everybody off. So that was kind of a jerk thing to do. Well, now they've done it with the 6x6. Now, 6x6 is cool. I wish they had stepped it up and actually made it with a tilting bed, but it's all secured all the way along. So like an actual tilt bed that you could load properly would be super cool. Yeah. When are you guys coming out to Steel City and Fontana? Ooh. I do want to go there. So I do want to come down there and race, and I have to try and arrange something with Aaron. We'll go out on like a boys trip and go do some stuff. That'd be cool. So the TRX6 flat deck, whatever you want to call this thing, it's designed to fit that guy on it so that it's got the bungee cord things and everything to fit on the wheels. Oh, not that one. Let's go this one. Comes with the lights. That's cool. Everything on it is actually black chrome, not chrome. That's why it doesn't look that chromy. I really like the blacked out look. I think it looks way better than the Snap-on edition did. I just know that up here, so right now this is going to retail for $879 Canadian, which is like six something, $659 or something American. If I remember right, I'll look it up here in a minute. So these things were selling in the Snap-on edition. People were selling these when they first came out. They were selling them for $2,500 Canadian, which is ridiculous. And then people were buying. Will that carry your drag car? No, it will not probably carry your drag car because, well, no, probably not. That's a really good question. If it is set up with a Bandit wheelbase, it will probably carry it because I know that it can barely fit a TRX6 on the back deck. But anyways, back to what we're talking about here. So guys are buying these things and try to save them and keep them because they thought they'd be collectible and they thought they'd be collector's edition or whatever. And then they ended up not being because now Traxxas has gone and cranked them out like this. So, nothing like them just throwing up the big old middle finger to everybody. Thank you, Traxxas. That was kind of a jerk thing for you guys to do. So there's a couple things that are done on this one that weren't done on the other one. Rims and tires are way nicer, I think. This does actually have some mounts on the deck now that are supposed to, I've been told, are supposed to match the, right up here in the front. It's supposed to be able to bolt on your, the Traxxas winch so you can pull things up on the bed. So that's cool. Still running the same 21 turn Titan 550. Nothing's different mechanically. All of the parts to take an old, so if you have a TRX 6 already, all of the parts are available. Not available. There are part numbers already released to convert over all of your truck and everything to a 6x6 platform. You can get the longer frame rails. You can get all the extra parts and everything. So if you have a regular TRX 6 and you want to make it this, and you don't want to have more than one 6x6, then you can just crank it out and do it. I find this part here a little right strange. 12.8 inch, which would be the same wheelbase as a TRX4, like one of the Defenders or any of those ones. And I find that weird because if you look at the undercarriage of it, if you look at the undercarriage of it right here, there is like a crazy long drive shaft here, right? And then there's a little kind of a pillow block to, it's like a idler, steady bearing, I guess you'd call it. And so there's like two drive shafts coming through here in the middle. So if this is really 12.8 inches, which they're claiming in their paperwork and this stuff here, if this is really 12.8 inches from here to here, which would be the same wheelbase as a Defender, how come the Defenders and the tactical units and all the old and the Bronco 2021 Bronco, how come none of them have that extra? I think that's wrong. That's what I'm saying. I think that's wrong. I don't think it's 12.8 inches between these wheels, because that would make it the same wheelbase as those other ones. So just saying. Yeah, Scott, when I get a parts list, let me know. I can give you the parts list tomorrow or whenever, if you want to swing by. It's all up on the site. None of it's actually available for us in Canada yet. A lot of these, I'm hearing that it's not going to hit the warehouse in Canada until midweek next week, and that it's not supposed to be available online until something like the 8th of July or something like that. I'm hoping to have an early order or a first delivery one show up, but I haven't heard anything about it yet from the warehouse. So the chalk blocks I put on here, they basically have like a rubber band O-ring that can go around your wheel. So you can't really see it in this picture very well. My tongue is not working today. But that's a Fortec 3.0 chassis. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of room in front and quite a bit of room behind. I think you're going to get away with putting a crawler on here quite easily. Anybody who's got like a Capra or a rock bouncer or any kind of build like that, Capra or smaller, is going to be able to put it on the back of this thing and haul it around. I think that'll look cool. Battery tray is different because you can no longer use the clip part. You have to use the two upper clips, just like the old Rustlers and Stampedes did. We've all seen the axles before, same drive lines, same transmission, same gears. There's the O-ring / rubber band. Yeah, on high performance. That's where it all is, Scott. Yeah. So it looks cool. It looks really, I like it more. I do like it a lot more than the Snap-on edition. I just think it's so laughable how they make a limited edition run and then they just turn around and flip you the bird and crank it out themselves and then sell it for cheaper than it was before. Like that truck there, when I got it, it was, people were selling them for $800 to $1,000, depending on how badly somebody wanted it on eBay and stuff like that. I'd be lucky. I might get 400 for it now, Canadian, which is not really worth selling it anymore. I mean, I guess it's worth selling it, but it's not worth what I was hoping it would be worth in the future. So there's also like the cab. You can get the cab painted in black already, or you can get the cab in a clear. That's two options that are available on the parts list. All the lighting is available. All of the deck is available. The fuel tanks are available. The whole works. Hey, there he is. Look at this guy. What the? Let me get over here and click him. There he is. There he is. There he is. See?
I'm here.
Everybody's like, where the hell is he? You look like you just woke up.
I did.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
I was like, okay, I was lying on the couch here for a minute, watch this show.
Yeah.
Wake up an hour later, I'm like, what the F's going on?
Yeah. So I was just telling everybody how Traxxas has done the big old throw up the middle, To anybody who collected the Snap-on editions, what was the most expensive one you saw sell of the Snap-on edition deck?
Well, I did see one listed for like $2,500
Canadian, right?
Canadian.
Yeah.
On the Facebook. Not sure if it sold or not, but I saw it there listed. I've seen many others around the $2,000 mark for sure.
Yep.
And now they do this. However, I'm kind of not mad about it.
You're not mad about it?
No.
What?
No, because, well, this truck here, it wasn't available in any other configuration except for the smaller 6x6, right?
Right.
So actually have this, the ability to buy this is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, and they've also, like I was saying before you came on, they have released all of the parts that make this different from the regular 6x6. So the longer frame rails
mark to build it if you wanted to build it, right? Of course.
Well, I mean, I could go through it here in a minute and tell you guys what. I don't think it'd be $1,000 mark to do it, because I mean the truck itself is only 876 Canadian, something like that. 880. It's not over $1,000 Canadian for the truck to start with.
So before this one came out, the parts weren't available, or were they available?
So I believe, there weren't a lot of people that I know that had them, but the guy I think around here just posted a Snap-on hauler today for $1,200. That's probably the one you were talking about earlier. I would say, I think you had to like contact Traxxas directly to get the parts.
Oh God!
Like a lot of the stuff was interchangeable stuff, like the drive shaft. So if you broke a drive shaft, then the only parts that are really unique to this would be the bed. Let me get back here to the right pictures. The only stuff that's really unique to this are the beds, the bodywork. Servos are the same. Gears in the transmission are the same. All your gears and your axle are the same. Your frame rails were unique. Your bumpers were unique. Your battery tray was unique. Your drive shafts were just two sets of drive shafts, like added in. So the, oh God, I keep saying pillow block, but God, I just said it earlier too. My brain's not working.
U-joint CV axles?
No, the steady bearing. The steady bearing is unique to this because they made it so long. That's why I was saying I don't think that their guesstimate here. We'll go this way with it. Click on the wrong pictures, man. So in here they show, like I was saying, they show this as being a 12.8 wheelbase between here and here. 12.8 inch. There's no way that's right. No way that is right. Because if that was a 12.8 wheelbase, then that means that the tactical unit that I got hanging on the wall should have two drive shafts in it with the steady bearing in the middle.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. So I think that this measuring is wrong. But somebody prove me wrong. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. I know everybody loves to do it. So, because if that's 12.8 inches from there to there, there's no way. There's just no way. There's no freaking way that is 12.8 inches.
No, because what's the stock one? The TRX4.
The TRX4, the original TRX4 is 12.8 inches.
Yeah, and everything's pretty compressed in there. Like it has like the transmission in the middle, got the battery in there, and it's pretty, not much room in there.
I don't even know if I have it in here. I think I threw it in the garage when I got home. But I might have the Bronco here. Let's see. Oh, I don't. I forgot to grab it. But anyways, it's upstairs and it doesn't have this steady bearing in here. This one here. It doesn't have two drive shafts in here.
It's kind of like where the steady bearing is. That's usually where the rear axle would be.
This axle should be right about here.
Yeah, right about where that steady bearing is.
Yeah, right, because the bend in the frame comes up and then the axle's there pretty much.
Yeah.
That's why I say that one drawing I think is wrong. Just saying, just guessing, but I'm pretty damn sure it's wrong. So you can buy all of the parts to change it over to this. That's all available. Or you could just buy one.
I'd probably just buy one.
Well, sure. Look at you, thanks.
I gotta say that my dislike for Traxxas has been very strong.
Yeah.
Up until I drove the Bronco.
Well, by the way, I broke the Bronco.
You broke the Bronco.
I broke the Bronco on Lumby Days. I toasted the steering servo, which I'm really surprised because
I'm not. It's a normal Traxxas.
Well, no, I say I'm surprised. I'm surprised that it lasts as long as it did. So, okay, let's get back here.
Yeah, the Bronco's pretty cool. Ready to drive around with all the bells and whistles, and it crawls pretty good. Like,
runs really good. Like people were watching that thing climb up over rocks at Lumby Days, and they're like, "Holy man!" A normal TRX6 is 12.58 inches from front to middle axle. Exactly. Which is the same wheelbase. Basically, that's 12.8. That's the same wheelbase as your TRX.
Look here. So what kind of wheelbase is on that car in the back?
Well, like a TRX6, if you go on Harley put out his video this morning. Harley's channel, he made this speed run TRX6, right? With drag tires on it and everything, and the splitter and everything. That whole truck with the splitter and everything fit on top of this deck, and the front axle still sat here. The rear axle, I think, was just barely hanging off. So that's how long this is. And this is the Factory 535 hot rod or coupe or whatever they're calling that one. So it's a longer wheelbase car too. It's the same. Remember the wheelbase of the Corvette that I've got?
Yeah.
That's that wheelbase right there. Same wheelbase. So let's get back here. Now I'm going to show you some other pictures. So that's TRX6. Now, what else have we been doing lately? So in store and changing things over, and we're making things a crawler course at the store for 124 scale. So we started doing that 124 scale, and that is the table part that's going to hold up the 124 scale. The green stuff you're seeing on the ground here is markers for the inside of the corners on the drift course. This is how much of the floor we cleared up on this picture. But then I carried on and we got a little more. And then we moved all of the stuff in the store to the back wall. And I am taking all of these cabinets. These cabinets we're getting rid of these ones, selling them. These are the gaming tables for Warhammer. Those are all going into this back room back here. These two cabinets roll back into the back room if we want. And we now have right from front to back of the entire store available for drifting. And this is
went crazy with that.
Yep. This is the doorway where our friends decided to try and break into the store the first time. So we've covered it up with stuff so that they can't get in. And then we moved all the paints and stuff back there. And this is the crawler course I built for Lumby Days. So this is one part of the crawler course that's going into the store. But I decided to bang this part off and get it done before Lumby Days so that we could let kids run cars on this. I haven't taken a picture of it today, but there are a large number of parts of that course that are no longer gray because those kids chewed it right down to the foam in some spots. So it's like, holy man. Okay, that's not something we need to see. So yeah, that's what we've been doing with that stuff. And I've been doing, so I get to find out on Sunday and Monday. I'm going to close the store Sunday, Monday this week. And I get to sand a whole bunch of paint off of the floor. And then I'm going to prep it, and we're going to add an epoxy all across the floor so that we can, yeah. Is medical marijuana legal there? Marijuana is legal here, period.
Yep. Not just medical.
We're a bunch of weedies.
In fact, you can grow 2 plants per adult in your household. 4?
I thought it was 4. I'm pretty sure it's 4.
It was 2 per adult. I don't know.
Nah,
Either way,
who cares?
either way, if you grow something nice and big, then you only need like 2, right?
Well, it depends. I mean, maybe you need 4 if you suck at growing things, and maybe you only need 1 if you're really good at growing things.
Yeah.
Right.
However, it is still illegal to distribute it.
Yes, you can't sell it to anybody else.
You can't sell it to anyone else. You grow it for your own personal
Scott
use.
says I'm right. 4.
It's just like alcohol. You can't sell alcohol without a proper license, but you can make it for yourself.
Right. This is right.
That's how we roll in Canada.
J Concepts new Power Master clear body. So yeah, everybody's making a Power Wagon version of their bodies. Rock Hobby we already talked about a few weeks ago. Pro Line Chevy Silverado. Silly wheels.
The one car that's going to get you in trouble got released.
Which one?
The GTXE.
Oh yes, that one.
Yeah.
And also the. I just got to look this up to show you because this is I quite honestly believe that this is the ugliest vehicle ever made. Oh, they changed their frickin' website.
I can tell you it isn't. I can tell you how beautiful it is.
Oh no.
How?
Let's look here. Okay, so RC 4-wheel drive released a whole bunch of 1/14th scale trucks. So like the 8x8 tonnage, but we're talking like $3,700 US, $2,800 or $2,900 US. Crazy money on these things. $3,500 US. And these are all very European looking vehicles.
Yeah, I kind of like what Cole's saying there. When I saw that, I thought the same thing. You need to make the flat deck movable on that rig.
Yeah, you totally need to make it drop down so that you could load a drifter on there or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking that is almost a good platform that you could almost make a 8x8 bed truck out of.
Okay, so here we go. This is the ugliest car ever made.
Oh, looks like a very good Russian car, like Lada.
No, that Toyota. That is the ugliest crawler ever made. And if anybody wants to dispute that, you're wrong. It's so ugly.
It's very unique.
Oh, unique. Yeah, sure.
Is that
I would have.
for real?
That's for real. I thought it was a joke at first, but no, that is really the new one of their new TF2s that they came out with. That is so ugly. Like I would have preferred to seen a Volkswagen Thing put onto a crawler body or something instead, but not that. That's just oh.
But very unique. It's so unique. Like, look at that thing. Like, no one else has that.
Yeah, because
I'd
I'd kick it down the trail. I'd kick it off the cliff if it was in front of me. That is so freaking ugly.
It's so ugly. You don't mind getting the body all roughed up. You don't mind giving a roll over.
I don't mind getting the body roughed up on good-looking ones either. Aerodynamic.
Yeah, look how aerodynamic that is.
Take a longer bell. I'll have to extend it for a drag car. I think you might be right, Buck. I think you might have to extend that new TRX6 for. You might have to extend the bed. If Dustin was here, he could tell you because he has a TRX6, the flatbed snap-on edition, because he's a heavy-duty mechanic and he got one way, way back when they were. He didn't pay a bunch of money for it though. He just got one because he bought a bunch of tools. So he's, financed 2 houses worth of tools so he could get a TRX6 flatbed or something like that. But yeah, ugly.
Unique.
No. Just ugly.
It's so unique that no one else has one or wants one.
Or wants one is the key. That is the key to that whole sentence. Nobody wants one.
There's got to be like an off-road Toyota enthusiast out there that just was like, oh my God, they finally did this after all the years. Yay!
So, what is the newest thing you've seen that you've really jumped out at you? Yes, the Mad Wagon is ugly too. You're right.
I just keep looking at that GTX E, like the new version comes out. Has some cool little things to it with some air moving through the diffs to keep them cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I need that in my life. Like, I think that's gonna be seriously on the to get list. I don't know if I'll ever raise it, but I still want it.
It'll be a strictly outdoor kind of setup.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
You'd never be able to use it indoor.
Oh, hell no.
Strictly outdoor. 1/8 scale. So it would kind of be like ripping around with a Slash, really.
Yeah, but 4-wheel drive, purpose built for racing.
But so if you're one of those people who likes to rip around with a Slash or a short course 4-wheel drive short course truck or something, or even the people that like ripping around with felonies or infractions or any of those kind of cars, you would probably like that.
Well, I've been throwing that idea around. Like I kind of want something a little bigger, something I could drive around a track with, maybe something I could just go for a rip with.
A little more.
Throw around an idea between the Felony and the Vendetta, and even that HPI rally car.
That HPI rally car is a monster. That thing's huge.
Yeah, and that's about the same size as the 8 scale. 8 scale one.
We're talking the WRC. So let's go the other direction, though. The other new thing that came out in the past week or so would be the JRX2, the 1/16th mini JRX2. Let me find my picture. That's a cool little car, and it brings back memories to me from back in the day.
Back in the day when you're a young lad.
Back in the day when I was a young buck.
When I was a young warthog.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what?
I can hear it. The rain come back.
Oh, you got rain happening?
It was just a little.
I don't have any rain happening.
Are you water yet?
No.
Oh my God.
No, we'll never be underwater. I live on a mountainside. I'll never be underwater. I'm fine.
Yeah, that's what they said about that other town that went underwater.
This guy. No, I don't want a video. I want this guy. Oh, I can show you this. You guys can see this.
Show me.
You can see this. This guy. So this little car here.
Oh, that
make it bigger
thing. That's for all you vintage lovers out there, isn't it? Look at how vintage that looks.
It's very vintage.
That thing was ahead of its time because it had the front window was a wing, you know, for downforce.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my computer's having a seizure. My kids are probably playing video games.
Yeah.
Again, stupid video games. But I found the one here for you. They came out with it in your color scheme right here. Pink.
Not my color scheme.
But it's actually got this actually has more adjustability than the original JRX2 had. Than the JRX had. And the rear axle. Except it's super small. It's the same size as that little buggy. Or the little what the hell was that? The Low C Mini B. So that's a cool little platform that I think everybody's going to have some fun with. It'll be really fun to rip around indoor with that thing. Have a couple of them ripping around and bashing, and I'd like it.
There's a few companies making some vintage stuff again.
Yep.
Schumacher, I think they had a buggy of some sort from the old days.
Yokomo's coming out with some stuff again.
Yokomo. Tamiya still builds their vintage stuff.
Yeah, Tamiya never stopped.
It was kind of like, oh, let's make these molds now. Let's get those in the press.
Yeah, and then they came out with let me find it here for you. Also, they came out with Arma's NASCAR body.
That's just the body only.
Yeah, which really, there were a whole bunch of people right off the bat. They're like, oh my God, I got to have that. I got to have that. And it's like, it's just a body. You have to have the car still. It looks really good.
I think another thing, speaking of vintage stuff coming back, I'm not going to be so surprised when people want to do circle track racing again.
Well, they already do. They do a lot of circle track racing down in the States.
Down in the States,
yeah. I think tell me. What do you think, Buck? Do you think that there's a lot of circle track racing down where you are? I'm sure there is.
But I think it's growing. Like it kind of
there's more dirt.
You still did it.
Yeah, there's a lot more dirt track racing.
Little places doing it,
Do you remember way back in mid 80s, early 90s when they used to do big paved oval type with high bank oval RC tracks?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh man,
probably 5.
They were wild. They were wild. I think you were probably still in diapers back then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's in diapers, man.
Yeah.
I remember watching NASCAR.
I'm still in diapers now. I'm back to being in diapers again.
Oh man, happens full circle.
So this is their oval, their dirt car, and that's neat. I like that.
Well, I was thinking that we could even run that, like at the place we normally do our on road and our and our drag racing.
Yeah,
it has a parking lot, and they have different entranceways on both sides. There's a tree and some grass in between the middle. And you can't go through there. It's like a big ditch.
Yeah.
But we can go all the way around.
Nice concrete block on there for you to clip the corner every time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like real NASCAR. You hit something, bam. Debris everywhere.
You get that little kiss of death on it.
Coming out wide. I got to pass them on the outside. I got to get the special tires on.
Everybody's spitting out 1/24 scale garbage now.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's the bandwagon jump on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a hockey team. New hockey team does good, or this team's good this year. So they got all the jerseys out there.
Yeah, here it is. Schumacher re-releases the Cougar Classic 110 kit.
There you go.
I'm going to show you guys. This is a picture. This is from Big Squid, though.
So I think that this one is more, vintage than the one you showed, because the one you showed has like the cheater ramp wing
Yeah.
front window. This was like, this is what a buggy's supposed to look like.
Yeah, this is pretty vintage. Like, yeah, that's vintage. Now, so my thing with this is I think that any of these really vintage ones like this, they should be dirt cheap in price because there's no technology involved in there that hasn't been around for ages now. So they should be able to just crank this out for a little bit more than the cost of what the materials are and
Yeah.
the machining. It's not they're not paying for, they try and say that you're paying for R&D and all that stuff. You're not paying for any of that with this stuff. So I think those, like a vintage class comeback, could happen easy because you would have
New
this.
parts.
Yeah.
One thing that they did back then very well was they had so much money to spend, so they spent it, and then they had the same model for like 5, 6 years, 7 years, and they didn't change it because they didn't have the money to R&D it and then up the price, because they'd be like, nah, no one's going to pay this price for it, so we gotta get our money's worth out of the first one.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, every year Associated makes another one. The price kind of goes up and up. Same the X-ray goes up and up and up, make the changes, and it's skyrocketing.
Well, and your Lambo body for the drifter, because RMX came out with that body and put it on. They put it on an RMX 2.0 chassis, right, for drifting. Now they're releasing it on the TCR FF, which is basically their TC front wheel drive kind of setup.
Front wheel drive Lambo.
Yeah. And then, how every single time Proline comes out with a set of wheels and tires, and that company Jetco goes and comes out with the same thing. They just did that with the 1/8 GT tires again. Melted tires at a cheaper price. But this is the one that gets me the most. I'm going to show you this one because I think this one's going to create some outrage. This one's going to create some outrage with some people, particularly the guy who. So these tires they're calling them the Mud Terrain MTs, crawler tires, and they're made by Endura. However, these are the KLRMs. They are USD stickies, which were made by OT6. The real tires not made by OT6, but these ones are. So there's a 2.2 version of the USD stickies, and then there's a 1.9 version, which are the KLRMs. And they were made by OT6 Voodoo tires. And then Endura turns around and they're cranking out their version. Now, this is a 1-inch version for the 124 scale crawlers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But if they're doing it this way once now, you just wait because they'll start cranking out all the other sizes too. Yeah. They'll crank out the other sizes now soon too.
So back to like that vintage car. That's why I'm putting this out there. Earlier this year, or maybe it was late last year, they did a comparison with the new X-Ray X4 and the old T1. They put the original in it, the new electronics in it. They did a comparison side by side. It was like 1 second difference or something silly like that. Something like so small.
Insignificant.
So I'd like to see somebody take the old Schumacher and the new one. Probably, was pros.
Yeah.
All the electronics in both, same tires, and race on the track.
Well, okay, so I can remember back years ago, like this would be early 2000s, and I went to a couple races and was when I was trucking across the country and stuff, and I went to a few races down in the southern states, and I remember going to some carpeted off-road races, and those guys were rockets. They were stupid fast. And I've been to some new races now, and I'm feeling old now, so maybe it's not right, but I still think that the cars and the racing I was watching then seemed to me to be just as impressive and just as crazy fast as it is now. So, how much money do you want to keep throwing all this crazy amount of money at something just to have the biggest and bestest? That's what's happening to drag racing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're going
That's
overkill
happening in
with that.
drag racing. They've destroyed it now.
Yeah. Well,
You got to put a limit at it, and you got to say, okay, look, enough. You can't keep on modifying this and modifying that and making 15 cell battery packs and just it's just ridiculous now. And then you read through the comments on these pages on these guys with these no prep RC racing, and all the comments are like, oh no, the guys who put in the time and putting in the work are the ones that are winning. No, bullshit. I call it. It's bullshit. They might, yeah, they're putting in time. They need to put
a lot
in
of money.
justify the fact that they put $3,000 into electronics into it. I do think that they need to tone it down and bring it back to something where people want to actually go and race. Nobody wants to race somebody who's doing. They got 1.5 second track times now.
Yeah, fully blue tires, nice prep track.
Well, not a prep track though.
Oh,
they're saying it wasn't prepped. It was no prep. But with the amount of with the amount of crap that was on the track, I'm sure it's prepped. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't prep, but there was marks where the tires were lining up.
It wasn't prepped, but you could see where the car went last.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I don't like where that's going.
I think that you might just as well as put a guide wire in there.
Yep.
And just pull the trigger.
Yep. Yeah, some of those guys' cars that
in there.
The timing, the staging through the ESC going up as it goes, and guys are just yanking on the trigger, and there's no skill there anymore. There's just that's all how much money you put into your electronics. And yeah, okay, so you spent the time tuning that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, I get that. You spent the time tuning that. That's not no prep.
No, I don't like how
Still think no prep is show up and go.
It's not you. It's not you anymore. It's like when you. No. I got to say this to every drifter out there. Try drifting without a gyro.
You can't.
You can't.
Even I've even watched with really, really bad subtitles going across the bottom because it's all in Japanese. But I've watched some guys. There was a video I was watching. It was probably 10 or maybe even 12 years old. It was a YouTube video of a guy, and he was doing a comparison when gyros had first started coming out. And he was trying to run his drifter, his two-wheel drive drifter, without the gyro turned on. And this guy was a professional level drifter, and he couldn't even keep the thing. He couldn't do one lap around the track. Right? Now you've got that. So like that's drifting. Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah.
But that's not
thing for going down the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these things. Oh, well, there's no aid on anything. Well, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
If that thing's get put in delay on for how much you're squeezing it, like you just squeeze it, and that's all you do. It's like, okay, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, all the way to 7.
There's Buck says it. Let me make you boom. There we go. Circle track 1/8 off road, huge medium turnout for on road. Just way too expensive to build the cars. Drag racing is getting massive again. Yeah. Yep. I could see most of the indoor track because a lot of places can't afford the overhead that's involved to stay open now.
No, it's even more so now, right? Like,
yeah.
Try a place rent.
Yes. Original pan cars. Running foam tires. Yep. Yep.
We had somebody in our club. He came out with his vintage old, it was a touring car, but with foam tires on it and like the original motors in it. So he had his car and he cleaned it all up, returned the Slater.
Yeah.
And brought it out, and he had all the same. He went through his batteries and made some good battery packs, and he ran it at our track. And that car was still fast with all that old technology.
Just looking up something. Samba's asking about the Hobbywing Fusion Pro. So I'm just looking to see if I can find some information on it. New Quick Run Fusion Pro.
The Fusion is that all-in-one motor and ESC deal.
Yeah, so the Fusion Pro is basically, yeah, okay, I've already seen some of this. This is basically the Spectrum motor. Like it's a 2300 kV. So they had an 1800 and a 2100, I believe, in the Fusion before. Now they've come out with a 2300, which is the same that they came out with the Spectrum Firma, whatever. I can't remember what it was called now.
It was all one unit as well.
It was all one unit, exact same thing. So I think really what they're doing is they're just tying up loose ends and just mass producing a whole bunch of the same motor under a different brand. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch RC review on it yet. Let's just monster truck race and crush cars. Absolutely. Yes. Monster truck race and crush cars would be cool. So tomorrow we're not doing any rock bouncing either because, well, one, it's supposed to pour rain.
Again.
I'm just
every time we want to do something.
Every time I want to do something, it rains. And I think Wayne is actually going to take off and go to the coast. It sounds like he's going to go down there and maybe go to he was talking about going to the Scale Trail and checking that out. So Lumby Days. You guys are asking about Lumby Days. Aaron never made it to Lumby Days. He missed out. Lumby Days is fun. What we had set up was we have a white enclosed trailer that I've got set up with the ramp off the back. And then we had the little 124 scale crawler course built on it. And kids were in there. We were just charging $1 a minute for a kid to come rent a car and run it on that track, which was great because my kid made some money. We had that set up off of the back ramp of the trailer. And then beside the trailer, I had the table set up with the awning and everything and showing off some of the cars that you could sell. And then we had my little 6x12 flat deck trailer full of rocks set up right in behind it. And we had like a little rock crawler course going on there. So that was cool. We ripped around on that. We took pieces of the old crawler course from the store and set them all up there. And we ran all that, and people were pretty amazed. On Saturday, Tim came out and he brought his X-Max. Wayne came out, he brought his Max. Tim brought his X-Max, his Limitless, his LMT. Basically, he brought his car with his trunk full of RCs.
His normal.
He drove that around. And so that was cool because he got a chance to do some trips. Wayne made us a really cool little kicker ramp that just launched those suckers, just sailed them through the air. So that was neat. And then Tim was trying to rip around with his car a bit, and he kept on having these little kids chase after it, which was driving him nuts quite a bit. Like, I just don't. What is with that? What's with people not stopping their kids from touching everything? Why? Why can't you stop your kids from touching everything? I appreciate the fact that they're excited and they want to see it and they think it's cool. But when I was growing up, if I touched things that I wasn't supposed to be touching, my hand hurt for the rest of the week because of this.
Bam!
Right? Every time.
Good.
And I can't. Like one time I can understand it. Okay. Kid comes up, gets a little over, but for a kid to grab a brand new truck off of a shelf or that somebody's running, to grab it, physically move it and throw it on the ground and then start trying to drive it back and forth like it's a car, like it's a Tonka truck. And for the parent to stand there and go, "Oh, isn't that neat? Isn't that cool? Oh, that's so neat. Oh, look at that. Oh, be careful. Be gentle. No, don't touch it. Don't touch it at all. It's not a toy to touch. You can look at it. And if you wanted, you could maybe try one. But no. I can't figure it out, and it's getting worse. Like the last time I did an event, there weren't that many kids that touched. There were a few. This time we actually had kids taking cars off of the table. If you were driving a car, they were actually running after it, trying to grab the car and pick it up. I backflipped the X-Max, and I had the kid that thought he was going to go and catch the damn thing.
Ah!
We're like, whoa, stand back. You can't do that, right? So the second day, Tim, Wayne, Scott, Crystal came out. They all ran their cars and trucks and everything on the crawler course. That was really neat. They ran their stuff everywhere. But then on Sunday, most of them had other obligations, and it was just me and Tanya and my kids and stuff. We were running the booth. So I took the ramp, the kicker ramp, and I put it up against the crawler course trailer. And I decided I'd take the X-Max and I would just park it up on top of the rock pile on the trailer. And every once in a while, I'd turn it on and I'd drive it down off the ramp and drive it around out in the field and went through there's like a spray park there. So I drove through the spray park a few times with some kids with it, and then came back to the trailer and hopped it back up onto the trailer. So the first time I came back up and I parked it back up on the ramp, and it just kind of popped up and landed on the trailer really nice. And I'm like, that was kind of smooth. That looked kind of neat. So I decided, okay, let's try this later. So I got Tanya to kind of clear the space on the other side of the trailer. So she's standing there watching, and I launched the X-Max. So the trailer is 6 feet wide. And I came off that ramp and I backflipped the X-Max through the air over the rock pile and landed on the grass on the other side of the trailer. And I probably did that half a dozen times with all of these people that are walking by, their eyes just popping out of their head. They were just amazed. They're like, holy shit, do you see what that thing just did? And then so we did that for a little bit. And then I took a break from that. And then closer on in the evening, I decided, let's keep doing it some more. So I jumped it a few more times. And then I came up a little bit short and I landed it on the rocks on the rock pile. And I kind of detonated the spur gear and the pinion. And it made this really loud, buzzy, clicky noise after that. But it was entertaining. Everybody loved it. It was cool. So I want to do it again. We have a car show coming up in Vernon on the 8th, 9th, something like that, of July. I think we're going to set up the same kind of thing there again and do some ripping around with that. Yeah. Parents think it's funny that yes, you were absolutely right. Yeah, but don't touch it. People doing the track prep, tires only, just like a non-road, just like in the clay track. Yeah. So, Buck, one of the things that gets me when it comes to on-road, or not on-road, but drag racing, is when guys, you want to prep and condition your tires and stuff at home and then go out for a drive with it and run it. And that is the way that car runs for the night. Okay, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go and put glue on your tires between every race, that is no longer no prep. I don't care how many people want to argue about it. Straight fact is, if you were street racing in a 1-to-1 car and you pulled up against somebody with a set of lights and you said, okay, on the next set of lights, from this light to that light, we're going whatever for pinks, whatever you want to do, $100, whatever. We're going from light to light. We're going to race. Is anybody going to be jumping out of their car and gooping up their tires before they go?
Yeah, you put the pimp juice on there.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Right. Sure
they put pimp juice down. I'm going to do 2 burnouts.
Yeah. I got to do 2 burnouts and I get 6 car links. What the hell?
The chase is a race.
Yeah. Not happening, man. Not happening. And that's where I think that the whole nature and the whole purity of no prep has been lost. I'm a firm believer that the purity of no prep has been lost.
Well, I've been saying the whole time is that you should be able to show up, put your car down, and run it.
Yep.
and that keeps people coming in, like new people coming in. Like anybody can, if
Yep.
anybody can do it, then everybody wants to do it. Right now, nobody can do it. Like only a few people can do it at the high level that it is. Like it's great that it's up there doing like pro mod stuff where you rebuild the engine after every run.
Yep.
But who's at the time?
Well, like we talked about in the last one, where their guys are talking about now about there being like a throwaway motor, and these guys are just throwing away motors every run.
Yeah, get put new rotor in every run.
Yeah, if you go to the drag track and you are a street racer guy, you're not putting a new motor in your car every race. Yeah, the top fuel guys are. I'm not saying it's not something that doesn't happen in drag racing, but that's like the upper levels.
High dollar.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollars thrown at that thing every race weekend, right? That is not what keeps the guy who built the car in his backyard and wants to go and hit the drag strip with it. Those guys are the ones that keep the sport going. They're the reason. They're the reason those big companies spend the money, because they want you to come and buy their stuff. And that is the exact same thing with the RC stuff. You got R1. They have their racetrack, their car, everything they're making. It's all prototype this, prototype that, and it's not super available with their voodoo tires that you can't even get because nobody has any in stock. That is no longer an attainable level for the average street racer. You're no longer racing with the whole point of a sponsorship is to get people to buy your product.
Yeah.
So why are you racing with a product that you can't sell?
Yeah, you can't get enough of it.
You can't get enough of it. You can't keep it on the shelf. It doesn't make sense.
No.
And it kills the sport.
Yeah, 100%. So one guy shows up with those voodoo tires and no one else has them.
$1,000 voodoo tires.
Yeah, because you had to buy them from 3 different guys because they're like, okay, I can sell them for $400.
Yep.
Next guy's like, yeah, I got them. You want to buy them for 6?
So the Pro Line Blue Dots that they came out with, right?
Yeah.
So everybody was talking about how awesome those blue dots are. And then all of a sudden, everybody starts showing pictures of these blue dots get just chewed up and destroyed. I have not seen anybody posting pictures up of their voodoo tires chewed up and destroyed, because nobody wants to admit that they spent that kind of money on a tire and it got chewed up. That's my thought.
Oh, that's probably exactly it. That's exactly it. But that comes down to now you're going to have to start doing spec racing, hand out motors.
Which that gets expensive too.
Hand out everything, right? Because
I still I don't agree with the way it's going, but I don't really agree with a lot of the solutions everybody's come up with yet either. Because I don't think spec racing, I mean, unless it's like literally a handed out motor.
Like you buy this motor, it's locked timing.
Yeah.
You have this ESC has no timing.
Yeah. But what'll happen is you'll have somebody who'll figure out a way to hack into that motor, and then that guy's going to have this. These are hand-picked motors. These ones are great. Why? You're not supposed to break the seal on that thing, but you did, right?
It's funny because like even talking about that spec racing, okay, well we got a turn rating, so then the companies bend the rules, and you got your.
If you could be a voodoo tire dealer, I am a voodoo tire dealer, and I can tell you right now that you can't even get them. They sell them out as pre-order and sell them to customers like
direct.
Right when it drops, boom, they're sold out. They're gone. So, being a tire dealer, the only person who makes money from voodoo tires is OT6 Racing.
Voodoo. And the person that bought the tires and resold them
for way more than they were worth in the first place. Yeah. R1 Newcastle drag motor. Yeah, the Newcastle drag motor. Yeah, so the new Castle drag motor that everybody keeps on talking about.
14.5 rotor.
Yeah.
Big rotor.
Yeah. So at what point, remember in the rule started out with no prep, it was a 540 rule, 540 again. And then companies came out with spec cars or stock cars that have 550 cans in them.
Yeah.
And then all these manufacturers just started renaming their motors a 540. And it's not actually a 540. A 540 XL is not a 540. A 540 XL is more like a 550, right?
It's almost a 5. It's like, what, 2 millimeters off 550?
Yeah. So what size is this new Castle motor really? Is it a 540, 550 can, or is it more like a 1/8 can?
Or it doesn't even matter anymore because
Doesn't matter anymore because nobody seems to care and the rules
yeah.
are just thrown out the window and there's nothing really official. There's still nothing really official about any of the no prep racing rules out there.
No.
There is no official sanctioning body.
Like
For no
Roar
prep.
or anything like
Yeah.
that.
There's no national level or international level no prep racing set of rules. But it is what it is.
Speaking of drag racing, so today I had a memory on Facebook because Facebook likes to remind you of the things that you've done. So I've
Good
got
old
like the
government.
first hits that we did in Armstrong 4 years ago. 4 years or 5 years ago? I think it's 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
I think so.
That was a long time ago when the first one you ran.
Well, I think we ran before that too. It was like 6 or 7 years ago when we did the first couple hits in Winfield.
Would people show up in Canada if there's a 100,000 square foot facility indoor to build what you need to build for RC?
Some would, but there's not enough population like we were talking about before.
Well, that's part of the problem we have here. And we have a society now that wants everything for nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to put in the work or the effort. Everything comes far too easy to them now, so they don't really realize what it's like to have to pay the power bills for the place to be open, to pay the rental fees for the place to be open. Let's just imagine that you had to have an employee there. So your employee gets paid whatever their hourly rate is. And everybody thinks that somebody else should have to foot that bill. Everybody thinks that there's this huge amount of profit margin and huge markup on everything that's sold in a store. Like everybody's thinking, okay.
And then they want a deal on their stuff as well.
And then they want a deal on everything as well. So they want a deal. They want everything for free. So it just kind of ruins it and makes it hard for you to sustain it for any amount of time. So you either have to be dedicated to it and just say, screw it, I'm doing this because I want to do it. Because a smart business person, if you're into a business strictly for money, our hobby is not the one to be in. Our hobby is not the one to be in if you're looking to make big money, unless you are an established company like Traxxas or somebody big. So, yeah. What is the price of property up there? A hell of a lot more expensive than down there. I can tell you that much right now, because I've already looked down in California at a whole bunch of different areas. When people think that a place is expensive in California, and then I look at the similar plot of land in Kelowna, and I go, whatever. $500,000 is an average price. I think the median price for a house up here in BC right now is something like $850,000 is the average price of a house. Land starts at probably 200 and works its way up from there, depending on how many acres it is.
And the small value is the ones that are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So your acre land in the middle of nowhere.
There's a reason they're not expensive, because nobody wants to be there. Which I wish I could find a piece of property like that here. I really wish I could find one of those gem properties that nobody wants it because it just doesn't make sense for anything, except it would totally make sense for a racetrack, right? Because a racetrack doesn't need a lot of things. Like, you could do a racetrack and have your own water system set up and your own water collection system set up, and you could run the power system and everything off a generator and everything. You don't need to have power running to it. The amount of power required to run an RC track is quite minimal, really.
Yeah.
It would be cool. But if I had that kind of money, I probably wouldn't be doing this either. So, yeah.
Well, that's the thing that people would, with more money, they'll buy a track car and go to a real track and race, like the one in Penticton or whatever they call that in between the
Area 27.
Yeah, Air 27. Yeah. So you got that kind of money, you're going to Air 27, you're going to race a real car.
Maybe. Yeah, I suppose.
Because, if I didn't have the problems I have with my arms and hands, I'd definitely be down there go-karting.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked at go-karting.
Even if it was only 4 times a year, I'd go do it.
I used to have a stock car. That was an easy throwaway minimum. I think my cheapest year I ever ran it. And I didn't run that many races that year. It's $15,000. That was just fuel and getting to the track and tires and minimal repairs. And I didn't have any big wrecks that year or anything. So $15,000 gone. And you know what you don't get here? Prize money. You get nothing.
No.
You won first place. Here's your ribbon. Thank you. Have a nice day. Come back next year. That's what you get a lot of around here. So,
yeah.
So, this weekend coming up is going to be a very hectic one for me because I'm going to be learning how to lay epoxy onto a garage floor, basically, which I've never done before. So that's going to be super fun. And then the following weekend after that, my kids are finally out of school next week. What time's your wife done teaching?
I don't even know.
You don't even know?
I don't like to bring it up. She's like, probably just counting down the days. She's probably like 9 more days. Working on report cards.
That's got to be fun, eh? Working on report cards where you can't even tell them if they suck or not.
Well, they got different levels.
Here's
kids at level 1. Is that good? Not really, but
yeah. How was your grades? You're graded as sufficient. What does sufficient mean? It means you're going to be out of my hair next year. That's what it means.
Meeting expectations.
Whose expectations? That's always been. I always want to know whose expectations are we talking about here?
The government. You think if the government lowered expectations, are they trying to like get rid of like the middle class?
Maybe.
I'm just gonna put. I just thought of it just now.
Maybe
so
they're trying
lowering expectations.
Slowly worm you out.
Okay, you guys can go down here and you pay for all the rich people. Yes.
So, anyways, my kids are going to be out of school next week. Their last days. And then they have a few things. I think they got like some field trips. I know they're supposed to be going to Yama zip lines and stuff like that. And then after that, I have a house full of kids to deal with all the time.
And friends.
And all that great stuff. Oh, yeah, Lumby Days. My daughter disappears for like 2 hours. We can't find her anywhere. Oh. We're at Lumby Days, and she's been off riding and stuff. And so I start wandering around looking for her. We're not like really looking that hard. We know that she was with her friend and she was hanging out. So we haven't seen her for like 2 hours. When I finally do find her, what is she? She's with a boy. So the boy comes up to, I don't know, here on me. So I just walk up to him like, what are you doing with my daughter? And he went, nothing.
Nothing,
sir. And he left. So that's coming. That'd be great. I have to start beating people away from my daughter with a stick. She thinks it's funny. I don't. My wife thinks it's funny. I don't think it's funny. She's like, ha ha, you're going to have your hands full. It's, ha ha, she's your daughter too. So, I do have another axle there. Look at that. I like it when I find car parts kicking around.
So then next week, we're going to try to do drag racing again.
Next month, Monday.
This Monday
Yes.
coming
This
up.
Monday coming up.
We're going to try again. We got to make up for lost time. Like, we've only ran one day in the past 2 months. Like, we're supposed to have a race series here, people.
Series. We didn't even get
Point
past
series.
the testing tune. We didn't make it past testing tune. Every single day got ruined. We had one day where I've only had one day where I actually got to test out setup on that car.
And it was cold. Like, the traction wasn't even there yet.
Yep.
The pavement wasn't even warm. It was still like permafrost, and the soil was still in there.
I mean, we got more bouncing in. We got 3-4 rock bouncing sessions in of the 6 that we had planned. So that was okay. But now we should be switching over to on-road racing and monster trucks.
Yeah.
But I'm going to hold off on the monster truck a bit, I think, because I want to actually see some drag racing happen.
I think so. Like, I got to see what this new Macklin or Drag Race King.
The DRK 160.
DRK. Yeah, I was going to put that big, huge capacitor on there, but then the DRK comes with like a double capacitor pack in there.
Yeah.
Like 6 of them in there. There's like 2 there, and then or 3 here, and then 3 underneath.
So now you got that monster capacitor there. So now you just need to build another drag car.
Well,
to utilize the capacitor.
I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should do like a little video with put the capacitor on there, unplug the battery, and see how far the car goes.
How many hits can you get off one capacitor?
Because the Orca ones, they made this crazy capacitor, and I know for a fact that when you unplug it, the touring car still has all the fans running. Mm-hmm. Then give it like a little squeeze or 2, and it goes nin. So I'm thinking I need to like use one ESC, plug it in.
Yeah.
I'll make like a little plug-in maybe to do the quick connect for the capacitors.
Yeah.
And we could like unplug it, give it a squeeze, see how far it goes.
Yeah.
Unplug it. Unplug it, give it a couple seconds, give it a squeeze.
Show them the capacitor. You got it there?
I do have it here. Have it. And keep in mind, this is the small one.
That's the small one.
That's the small one. There's one that's like twice the size. It's the size of a motor. And
well, when the first time I saw that, the first time I ever saw those capacitors on R1's webpage was advertised on their new I can never remember the name of that stupid car. The chassis that they built. The DRC or DC chassis?
I think that's what it is. DRC.
It was DRC.
DRC1?
DRC1, that's it. And they showed it on that chassis with the wheels and everything. And you look at it, and I thought, well, that's a weird spot to mount the motor. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, wait, that's not a motor. That's a capacitor all by itself. And then,
when I first saw it, it wasn't like on a car or chassis. It's just a picture of it. So I was thinking it was just like one of those like little single ones, like this guy here.
Yeah, the one that's like the size of a thumb is that. Yeah.
A little tiny guy.
Tiny little dude, right?
Oh, it was just that, but close in.
Yeah.
And that's
and then you get it, it's the size of a D-cell battery.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like this was.
So, hook that up to your battery and then stick your tongue on it. Tell me what it does. Okay, so what are we at? An hour and 20. So we're probably going to call her. I will be painting floors on Sunday and Monday, and then I will be showing you guys video of the new drift track setup at the store which I'm kind of really, really amped for, because drifting, if I can get this layout set up in the store the way I want it to be, rain, weather, crappy scenarios, cold weather, hot weather, it won't make any difference, because I will be inside and I will be able to do it whenever I want.
Yeah, it needs to be like the cancellation thing. Like we should be doing this instead of drag racing if we have no drag racing going on.
Yeah. So everybody who has a drag car or any kind of other race car needs to get a drifter, so you have your backup plan. If the weather goes for crap, we're going here.
Backup plan.
Backup plan. That's just my thoughts. That's mostly because I'm putting in all this time on building the thing I want to get used. So
Well, I think, like, personally myself, I feel like I haven't done anything RC related for so long because all these cancellations.
yep. The last time you ran an RC was probably that off-road race.
When was the last time? Oh, last time I drove an RC was when I broke yours.
Oh yeah, you broke my Max.
Broke your Max.
Yeah. Yeah, you freaking broke my Max.
That was a couple weeks
that,
ago.
yeah.
And that was probably about it. Like, other than that, it's been rain, wind. Charge your batteries, rebalance charge them.
I got new goodies here to fix that problem. It's like mail day for me. See if I can get this off here so you guys can see it. Whatever. I got new goodies to fix that. That's going to fix the Max problem that you broke.
And then we're gonna.
And then that.
So then we're gonna move the breaking point to somewhere else. Then.
No. Well, yeah. Then Wayne broke these. And then I got those. So anybody who doesn't know, if you ever buy these for a Max, you need to buy these and these, because the little plastic washer things and the regular nut that goes on there and all that doesn't work on these anymore, because these have the bigger shafts.
Bigger shaft.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I got to fix all that up, because I need to have that Max up and going for. I have to have that Max up and going for the car show if we're going to do that one. So.
Cool.
Yeah. Got to peel these stickers off before my wife sees them. You did what? Get the
Aaron broke it.
Tim's fault. It's Aaron's fault.
It's all Aaron's fault.
All Aaron's fault.
I think you just set me up.
You always say that. You
all
always
the tires were like barely held on. The nuts were backed off. The wheel nuts were backed off, and they're all doing this.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You set me up.
It's a long 540.
You set him up.
Okay, so you guys, we will talk to you guys later. I don't know if I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to. No, I won't have time. Maybe I will. I don't know. Tanya's not going to be here on Friday night, so maybe I'll have time to actually do a bench wrenching.
I will not be here for bench wrenching.
We shall see. If I do bench wrenching, then I'll do bench wrenching. You guys will know.
I'll be driving to the Kootenays for my niece's graduation this weekend.
Ew.
Yes, I get to hop in a car after work and drive for like 4.5, 5 hours.
That's funny. So anyway, I might see you guys on Friday night. If not, have a good weekend, and I will speak with you next week. Catch you all later. Thanks for tuning in. Tell your friends to subscribe and like the video. Okay, bye.